Hello and welcome to the Power BI March 2020 update. In this video, we will explore what's new this month and demo some of the highlights. But before we get into the details of the update, we'd like to remind you that next month, April 2020, the modern filter experience will go live for all reports, both in the Power BI desktop and Power BI service. This also means that the old filter pane will no longer be available. So if you haven't upgraded any of your reports yet, we strongly recommend doing so this month. This will help you tweak or customize any of the formatting before the reports are upgraded in April. And now, on to this month's release. We have several updates for you in the reporting section. First, we're excited to announce that we've added two new action types for buttons, page navigation and drill through. Sujatha will walk us through demos of these two features.
So first I'm going to demo the page navigation action. So let's start by seeing what the consumption experience is like. So as your end users are clicking through the different tabs here in the navigation, we're actually redirecting them to different pages in the report. And so that's nothing new because you could have done that with bookmarks. However, now we're adding the support for the built-in page navigation action so that it's much faster to create this experience. So let's go see how this is created. So in the edit mode, I'm going to go ahead and select this button. And you'll see here that under action, I have the type page navigation selected. And in my dropdowns, I see all of the pages that are available to me, excluding the one that I'm on. And this will also show pages that are visible and hidden and drill through pages. So as long as it is a page in the report, it will be shown here. And so here I would select category 2, and I am free to add a static tooltip, or I can leave it blank for the auto-generated tooltip, or I can choose to conditionally format that tooltip. And it's as simple as that. It takes, less than a few minutes just to make an entire navigation experience without having to create any bookmarks, which takes a little bit of extra time. Now let's see a demo for another new action that we're releasing this month, which is the new drill through action. So before I get into the details of the setup experience, let's take a look at what the consumption experience is like. So let's start with a really basic example. Let's say that I want to drill through on Word and drill through to the market basket analysis. You'll see here that there's this new button that I've added, which is the drill through button. And if I hover over it, you'll see this tooltip that says, to drill through to market basket analysis, select a single data point from product. So let's go ahead and click Word. And you'll see that the button is now enabled. And if I hover over that, the tooltip lets me know that I can now click to drill through. So there you see, now on the drill through page, it's filtered by word. Let's go back and look at some more advanced examples. So now let's say that instead of just drill through on Word, I want to drill through on Word, but also pass in a store. And so let's say I want to choose to pass in the value Leo as the store. So what I'll do is first click on Leo, and now the report becomes cross-filtered. And then I'll need to do Control-click on Word, and then the button becomes enabled. So let's go ahead and drill through using this filter context. So now you see that Word has been passed. And if we go to the store slicer over here, we can open it up and see that Leo has also been successfully passed to the drill through page. So now that you've seen the consumption experience, let's dive into the details of the setup experience. It's actually quite easy. So once you have the button selected, you'll need to go to the Action tab of the formatting pane, and you'll need to make sure that drill through preview is selected as the action type. Once it's selected, you'll see options for destination, enabled tooltip, and disabled tooltip. So for the destination, you'll need to select one of the drill through pages within your report. So as a prereq, you'll need to make sure that you've created a valid drill through page, else this button will not be useful. So market basket is a valid drill through page that can be drilled through on the product field. Now you'll notice that I've left the enabled tooltip and disabled tooltip blank, which is the default, but because I've left it blank, that means that we'll auto-generate the tooltips for you, which is quite handy because they make use of both the destination page name and the field names that can invoke the drill to destination. Now let's look at some more advanced options. So let's take a look at an option if we wanted to customize the button text name using conditional formatting. So to get this behavior, you'll need to first create a new DAX measure. So in my case, I created a DAX measure that uses the logic, if there is not a selected product, just do see product details, and otherwise do see details for, and then get the value of the product that's been selected. And it's as simple as that once you've created it, because all you need to do is reference it using conditional formatting in the button text. So when you have the button selected, click on button text, and you'll need to open up the conditional formatting dialog. And you're going to format by field value, and you simply just need to select that DAX measure that you just created, and that's it. So before I hand it back to Kelly, I want to give a thank you to Chris Hamill because we used his report for the page navigation demo. And I also want to give a big thank you to Power BI Tips because we're using their skateboard report for this drill through example. If you want to download any of these reports, I'll link them in the description of the video, and you can also find them linked in the blog. And one last thing I want to mention is that because the drill through action is in preview, we really appreciate any feedback. So feel free to go to the feedback link and let us know what you thought about it and what you would like to see in terms of the improvements for general availability.
This month, we're also bringing multi-column sort to table visuals. Let's take a look at a demo from Ren.
Table multi-column sort has been a highly requested feature for a while now, so we're excited to bring it to you this month. To add more columns to the sort order, hold down Shift and click the column header that you'd like to add next. So for example, if I Shift and click brand name, then I'm sorting first by class, then by brand name. If we Shift and click a second time, then we're going to change the sort direction. So I'm going to Shift click brand name, and as you can see, the items in brand name are now sorted backwards rather than in ascending order. Next, if you Shift click a column you've previously selected, you're going to add that to the sort order at the back of the list. So for example, if I Shift click class again, now I'm going to, because I had already selected it, change the sort order, and then since I had selected it earlier and I'm moving it to the back of the list, we're going to sort by brand name first, then by class, and all of them backwards. So as you can see, we're going backwards alphabetically from brand name, and then we're going backwards alphabetically from class. And of course, we can always add more things to the sort order, change the direction, move things around, and hopefully this allows you to explore your data a lot more freely as you use Power BI.
Next, we've added a second access to line charts, letting you view multiple datasets along wider ranges on the same chart. Ren will also take us through this demo.
You can now include another y-axis on your line charts, enabling you to plot two trends with different ranges along the same x-axis progression. A lot of you have been asking for this feature, and we hope its inclusion helps you use your line charts to draw cleaner and better insights from your data. To use the second axis, drag fields into the new secondary y-axis well, and they will be drawn into the visual against a y-axis on the right side of the chart. You can format these lines and this axis in the associated card in the formatting pane, right over here. Otherwise, the formatting will mirror that of your primary y-axis.
We are also introducing filter pane search, allowing you to search across the filter cards within the filter pane. Let's watch a demo from Sujatha.
For a while now, we've supported filter card search, which allows you to search across the values within a field. So let's say for this field distribution center, I want to search for the value for distribution center A. I can do so in the search box here, and then I can make modifications based on that search. Now, let's say if I want to do the same thing, but at the entire filter pane level, that's where this new feature is going to come in handy. So let's say I'm looking for a new filter on filter region. So I see that I already have one, and now I want to make changes to this filter. So I can go ahead and tweak that right there. Now, one important thing to note is that this search is based on the display names for the filter cards. So what I mean by that is if you've gone in and tweaked the display name here, so by default it's going to be your field name, but if you've gone and tweaked it, that search is now going to match up one-to-one with that display name. Another thing I want to mention about this new feature is that you can fully customize it. So if you go to the formatting pane and you select filter pane, you scroll down and you'll see this new option for search text size. So if I want to make the text a little bit larger, I can do so. And then if I want to change the input box color, so essentially the color of the search box, I can go ahead and make that change. Finally, one last thing I want to mention about this feature is that if for some reason you don't want the filter pane search, or you feel like your filter pane doesn't need it, so some reasons could be, for example, if you feel like you don't have that many filters and it just takes up real estate that you don't need, you can go and turn it off in the options and settings dialog. So select options, and then in the report settings, you'll see this option here called enable search for the filter pane, and you can just toggle that off if you do not want it for the report.
We have 2 updates to the decomposition tree, a bars per level formatting option, and improved behavior to data bar length. Serena has prepared a demo for these updates.
The first update I want to show you is that the decomposition tree now supports modifying the maximum bars shown per level. This is a formatting option found in a tree card in the formatting pane. The default of bars shown is 10, and the users can select values between 3 and 30. Setting a low number is particularly handy if you don't want the decomposition tree to take up too much space on the canvas. In this example, I can reduce the number of bars to 5, and now each category has a maximum of 5 bars that it's showing, and I can easily reduce the size of the visual. The second update we made is to the data bar length. So previously, the data bar length was based on the values currently shown in the tree and not all the values in the range. If a user scrolled up or down the tree, the first data bar would return to the maximum. We heard your feedback, and this behavior has been improved, and the global maximum is now remembered when scrolling up and down the visual. So for example, if I scroll down in plant here, you can see that the top plant now is not showing the full length of the data bar, but it's remembering the maximum of the first data bar.
We have one more update in the reporting section. Starting this month, the modern ribbon will be on by default. When you start Power BI, you'll see a notification announcing this change. Keep in mind that this feature is still in preview, and you can find its toggle with the rest of the preview features in the Report Options menu. We've also made some changes to the Insert tab, where you can now insert the Power Apps visual and AI visuals directly from the ribbon. If you would like to learn more about the changes to the ribbon, please visit our documentation. Please also continue to give us feedback on the new ribbon in our community forum posts. Links are provided in the video description below. Now let's move on to the modeling section. Here we're releasing a new DAX function, COALESCE, which returns the first expression that does not evaluate to blank. Here's Sujatha to give us an example of the COALESCE function in action.
So in this example, I'm going to be using a really simple dataset in order to demonstrate the new DAX function COALESCE. So in this dataset, I have an item name. So this would be a name such as binder, pen, etc. And then if the item name is not provided, I would be interested in looking at the item ID. So this would be like item ID 1 to item ID 4. And then if, worst case scenario, if that's not provided, I want to look at the order ID. So I know for sure that in my table, there's always going to be a unique order ID that's provided that the person consuming the report can look up to find the details of the items that were blank. So before I demonstrate the DAX function, I want to show what is the previous behavior without the DAX function. So here we see when I click on Sunday, there is a name provided and there's an item ID provided and then an order ID provided. Now let's check on Wednesday. So we have our first blank shown here. So the item name was not provided. However, there is the ID and there is always the order ID. And then now let's look at Tuesday here. So we see that both the name of the item and the ID is not provided. So the report consumer would have to look up based on order ID. So rather than having shown 3 different cards here, we can express all of this in a single measure and using one card. So the way we do that is with the COALESCE function. So in COALESCE, it basically takes in the 3 parameters that we're interested in evaluating. So let's evaluate what's the selected value for the first item, what's the selected value for the item ID, and then what's the selected value for the order ID. And it's going to look for, in terms of left to right, which was returned first without a blank. So if we look here, let's go ahead and add a card first so that you can see the result. So if you look here, for this date, it was only able to find the order ID, so it presented that. And then now if we move back, let's say to Wednesday, so it was able to evaluate the item ID, so it provided that for this date. And then if we move to Sunday, of course, it found the binder here, so it provided that one as the output. So with this new DAX function, basically you could save a lot of real estate from rather showing, all of these cards. You can just have one card that shows the most important value first if it is available, and then if it's blank, it's going to show the other values.
Next on the visualization section, we have a new custom visual, the xViz Waterfall chart, which is one of the most popular visuals in the financial world. To see a demo or download this visual, check the links in the description below. We also have a few updates to the ArcGIS Maps visual. ArcGIS Maps helps you build beautiful maps for your data in Power BI. Here are the updates to the visual. First, we see the new connection options when you create a new ArcGIS Maps visual in Power BI. ArcGIS Enterprise, ArcGIS Online, and Standard. Second, Enterprise support is now generally available. Now all users with the ArcGIS Maps Premium app subscription and ArcGIS 10.7.1 and above can connect to their organization's enterprise account and use their secure GIS data in Power BI. Next, all premium app users can now add multiple reference layers to a single map visualization within Power BI. And lastly, there's a new table of contents for ArcGIS Maps for both free and premium users. Now, when you drag data to a location well to view it on a map, you can also see a table of contents that lists all of the layers on the map and the features they represent. Let's move on to our template app section. Template apps allow you to save time by connecting your own data to populate a pre-built report that you can personalize and share. This month we have 2 new additions to our Power BI template apps: Azure DevOps Dashboard by Datamaru and Teams Power by Encamina. If you're interested in trying out either of these template apps, please check out their links in the description below. Next, in the data preparation section, we're excited to announce that Query Diagnostics is now generally available. Thanks to your feedback, we've added the capability to diagnose single steps, as well as improve the experience of using Query Diagnostics. Please look forward to a deep dive blog later this month. On the data connectivity section, we are happy to announce the public preview of 2 new connectors, the Hive LLAP connector and Cognite connector. Both of these connectors can be found in the Other section of the Get Data dialog. Finally, in our last section, we have a few extra updates for you. We are releasing a preview feature to enable enhanced dataset metadata. Currently, we store the dataset metadata for your PBIX and PBIT files in a format specific to Power BI Desktop. Enabling this preview feature will change that to a standard format, closer to the one used for analysis services tabular models. By using a standard format, we enable many more capabilities, such as XMLA read-write for management of Power BI datasets, and the migration of analysis services workloads to Power BI. You can simply turn this feature on in the Preview Features section of the Options dialog, and stay tuned for the follow-up announcement in the upcoming weeks. The next update is that admins can now allow users to use default system credentials for web proxy authentication. And lastly, we are happy to announce a brand new Administrator in a Day training. This instructor-led training can be found using the links in the description below. And that's all for this month. We hope you enjoy the updates, and please keep sending us feedback on what you'd like to see in the upcoming releases. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next month.